So we're standing at the Hayward Historical Society in front of Close Ties, and we're going to talk about some of the main aspects of the piece.
Well, surprisingly enough, this piece I did toward the end of the project, and I was fascinated by the stories of schools in the community. So as you can see, I have as a prominent feature, this is the old school from when they first built, Russell City built their own school from being with Eaton. And then I also include a stitch portrait of Miss Williams, who's one of the early teachers. The collection had a photo album of one of the teachers, and so I'm using scenes from the schools, children, the traditional children's photographs that you see. And throughout, you can see I have written words. I have also stamped words to highlight the community. So on this side, you see school subjects. Here you see general stories about the community. And I love this picture here, no, this one. It reminded me of my childhood in Texas when we had dirt roads, so when it rained, we were always trying to dig ourselves out of the street. And so you can see this old car, so I just love her, and so I put on here Bay Mud. And it's sort of a double standard in terms of the mud basins near the bay, but also the streets are filled with mud, depending on the conditions.
So sorry for interrupting, but so the quilt itself, if you can see it in person, it's very, very thick. How long did it take you to learn this type of quilting?
This process is called free motion quilting, and I really taught myself to do it, and I think I'm able to do it because I had pretty good cursive handwriting, and so I use my hands and my eyes the same way as if I were writing it. So many people find it difficult to like swirl and back and forth. And in terms of how long it took me to do it, if you know how to sew and stitch a regular stitch, it's possible to do this. You just use a different sewing foot on your sewing machine. So a regular sewing machine has a foot that, and it also has what's called feed dogs. That's what allows you to sew a straight stitch. So when I'm doing this, I lower those feed dogs. I use a foot that I can see through its plastic, and then I can see what I'm doing while I'm stitching.
Yes, so that's wonderful. One of the pieces also that I really admired, because if you get really close, the words of like community are constantly throughout the pieces themselves. So is this the specific story that you wanted to tell?
It is. I was looking at the images. Well, when I'm designing this, I put it on my design wall and I look and see how it all works together so it really is telling a story. So the central focus in many small communities are the school, the churches, and the small businesses. But often that school is the driving force because we're educating the children and so forth. And that's again like my childhood of growing up in a small community. So we have that, we have the school. I didn't have really any really good church images, but I talk about the churches. And you see all these school images. And then I'm trying to overlay and show industry by the early community was reliant upon farming, dairy farming, hog farming, that kind of thing.
So the last piece, which is the reason why I really loved this piece, is the woman that you stitched. So why specifically did you choose her? Was she just like aesthetically pleasing, or was she an important figure?
Yes, she was an important figure, and I'd have to look at my notes specifically, but yes, she is. I think that she may ultimately be like a lead teacher or a principal. I'll have to go back and research it, but I'm sure that's why I chose her. And I had such a really good image of a good photograph of her, so I could see myself being able to stitch her into the work so you could see her, because she's pretty clear.
Yes, especially with their thick bottleneck glasses.
Glasses, yeah, right.
And then you can even see the detail of the earrings.
Earrings, yes,
Yes,
so.
it's wonderful.
So that's part of the fun of it, is like trying to have those multiple layers on it.